All right, Shalom. It's your brother Kushab coming at you with another lesson. And before I get started, I want to give all praises, glory, infinite honors to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak Wadash, and double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who taught me the truth well. Peace, blessings, salutations be to the hopefully elect, as well as those that believe in the gospel, and may you endure to the end, Lord willing. All right. And I just want to get into a quick video, all right, of us not being ignorant of Satan's devices, all right, as it says in the second book of Corinthians, all right, that Satan won't get an advantage of us because we are not ignorant of his devices, man, all right, in which, you know, this devil has come out with a new scheme, all right, to ultimately throw people off, you know, and get them hooked into talking about something and making it out of a big deal, all right, with the recent release, right, of these Jeffrey Epstein files, all right, in which, you know, from the jump, this is what brothers, you know, when I first learned of the truth, this is, you know, one of the things that I was kind of hooked into, you know, as a conspiracy theorist, you know, before I learned of the truth, you know, with these elites, all right, the things that they do behind closed doors, man, all right, and it's not a by a long shot, all right, that, you know, we knew that these the type of things are going on, all right, but what the Lord is doing now, he's ultimately shedding light on it, all right, and he's ultimately exposing these devils, man, all right, by actually having them, you know, and we understand that everything is redacted, all right, the things that they actually releasing, you know, is this is how the saying go, is very small, man, all right. This is not even the tip of the iceberg, you know. And we understand that a lot of things are much, much worse than what we can actually see, all right, perceive and believe, you know. Especially when you fathom the things that, you know, that we actually know, right? But, you know, I just asked the chat to sum up the key takeaways from the latest release, all right, in which, like I said, you know, it's nothing more than a distraction, all right. What's the point of releasing these files if you're not going to release the names, right? And what you had one of the reporters, I believe he asked, was it Mark Rubio, Secretary of State, or one of these guys that works under the president, all right, DJ Trump. He asked, you know, basically the question was, when will we learn of the men, right, who are abusing these little girls, all right? And the response was, well, what are you talking about? When the question was clear as day, all right, when are you going to say who it was, right? And, you know, this furthermore digs in the gap between, you know, Satan and Satan, all right, the working class and the uber rich, man, the elite, you see, who already have this whole woke agenda, right, and these different things, man, you know. But I'll read a little bit of this and I'm gonna get some precepts and I'm gonna get out of here, Lord willing, is edifying, all right. So it says high profile names and surprises, lots of prominent figures appear in the trove. Through merely being mentioned doesn't imply guilt, all right. And hey, man, you know, a lot of you guys are guilty by association, all right. What is Pusha T and Jay-Z, all right, even though it was basically like someone called in on a hotline and they had this on the dial, all right. But, you know, what would Pusha T and Jay-Z be doing in the same room as Harvey Weinstein, right? Which, like I say, birds of a feather flock together, all right? You all will company you keep, man, you know? And this guy, you know, like I say, man, even if, you know, you didn't do nothing, you did it anyway. Like your boy 50 Cent said, whatever that nigga did, he did that shit, man, all right? Whatever he didn't do, he did it, all right? And that's just what it is, man. Now it says emails or recordings involving figures like Elon Musk, Kill Bates, Howard Lutnick, Steve Tisch, or others were part of the publicly released material. All right. DJ Trump's name appeared hundreds of times in various FBI notes and lists, mainly as part of logs and references, not new criminal charges. Newly revealed communications, so Epstein messaged former CIA Director William Burns after the 2008 conviction, including arranging meetings. Through Barnes says he had no close relationship with him. All right, and everybody's just going to deny. All right, and now when you actually pay attention to this thing, this guy had billions of dollars. All right, and these people used to go to him to set up these different parties, man. All right, where they would party with little children, you know, torture them. You have actual eyewitnesses that have, you know, what's your boy George Bush, one of the ex-presidents. All right, they're actually, you know, popping a little boy, man. All right, that's why the scriptures tell you in Daniel that he has, let me get that real quick, no desire for women, man. He doesn't desire her. All right, it's in Daniel. Oh shit. How does it go? Oh man, it's on the tip of my tongue. I might have to search it up real quick. Salakia, I just thought about it. I thought it was a Daniel, man. Salakia. Just bear with me 1 second. Oh man. Daniel 11:37, but it don't say that in the scriptures though. Come on, man. Salakia. Let's see. This in context, who is this talking about? All right, it's talking about Esau, Edom. All right, now I'm gonna just get the point. All right, it says, neither shall he regard the power of his fathers. Salakia. I don't think this is it. Nor the desire of women. Let's see something. Oh yeah, that's it. There's Daniel 11:37. It says, neither shall he regard the power of his fathers, nor the desire of women, nor regard any power, for he shall magnify himself above all. All right, and in a nutshell, that's Esau Edom. All right, thinking he's higher than the Most High. All right, but it shows you that he doesn't have a desire for women. All right, he don't want to get down with women. He want to get down with little boys, man. All right, and we tell you this time and times again. Why do you think that they always catching the popes, all right, the priests? They always catching them messing with who? Little boys, man. You see? But let's go to, I had a few bookmarked earlier. All right. Well, we're going to start off with Isaiah 25 and verse 7. All right. It says, and he will destroy in this mountain the faces of the covering cast over all the people. All right, and this mountain represents what? This government. All right, but there's a veil, all right, a covering cast over the eyes of the people, so they can't see, all right, these politicians, all right, these mayors, these governors, all right, these presidents. They don't see them for who they actually are. All right, but the Lord has anointed us, all right, with the Rokakadash, all right, to understand and know the things that goes on behind the closed doors. You see? But as for, mass majority of these Americans, they don't actually believe, that these are the type of people, all right, as they are Satanists, right? They don't actually believe that these people are Satanists, that they worship Satan, right? They don't believe that, man. But that's what these files are showing and exposing, you see? And that's ultimately what is happening, all right? The veil, the covering cast, the things that this devil does in secret, right? He's, totally getting ready to be exposed on all levels, man, all right? And we're going to see when the files come out with no redacted names, right? Because we know it's nothing but, this guy was exploiting, blackmailing, all right? I heard one recording where he was telling one of the ex-Israeli defense, he was the head of defense of the Israeli military, all right, how to extort people, all right, how to blackmail people, telling them to keep a list, all right? And it's all allegedly, all right? It's all allegedly, but we know what the deeds of the wicked, their true heart's desire is, but let's go to Psalms. Let's see what I have here. All right, yep, we're gonna get to Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 16. It says, thou art filled with shameful glory. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of Yahweh's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory. All right, and that's what you are seeing now. All right, shameful spewing on Esau, Edom's glory. Right, the other nations, all right, are looking at Esau, not having respect for him as they used to. You see? Let's see what it said in the NLT. All right. It's Habakkuk 2. Let me see. It says, but soon it will be your turn to be disgraced. Come drink and be exposed. You see? So now this devil is drinking that same cup that he's given to his neighbors, and made them drunken, right? The cup of democracy, right? The wine of, what's the damn word? It's on the tip of my tongue, man. Hey, it'll come to me, But that's what the wine represents, all right? Democracies and philosophies, all right? The cup of democracy and the wine of philosophy, man, all right? That's what he's giving his neighbor to drink, you see? But the things that this devil has done is ultimately being exposed on a high level, man, all right? Now, with this being, with these things being exposed, all right, is ultimately a distraction as well, all right? Let me get this last one. It's Psalm 64, all right? It's the book of Psalms 64, verse 5. It says, they encourage themselves in an evil matter, all right? They go about doing things, planning to do things wickedly, all right? It tells you that in Proverbs 4 and 16, that they can't sleep unless they have caused something to fall, man, right? It says, they commune of land snatched privily. They say, who shall see them? They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search. Both the inward thought of them, everyone, and the heart is deep. This is not the one I wanted. Say their own tongue gonna fall upon themselves, man. All right. Yep. This I gotta keep going. It says, verse 8. So shall they make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that sheet them shall flee away. Right. And that's what you see now. All right. These documents coming out. That's their own people exposing them for who they really are. You see? These are nothing but all Edomites at the top of these food chains, man. The CIA director, the FBI director. All right, all these different people, they report to who? The president, man. All right? And the reason why you have all of these names redacted is why? Because they don't want the information to come out on him. Why? Because they're going to lose their job, man. You see, you have all these people openly denying that they was a part of this cult, all right? Or they wasn't a part of, these wicked sacrifices and these wicked deeds that they did, okay? Because they have no choice, you see? And the Lord is shedding a light on it, man, But got a few more precepts. I'm kind of all over the place. It's all good though. And this is why I said, you can't be ultimately taken, drawn away by what's going on, because they flood this out in the news, all right? Especially in the algorithm, on my ex Twitter, they flooding this over the algorithm now, and I can't really see what's going on, across the globe. There's certain pages and certain things that I gotta search up, see what's going on with Iran, to see what's going on with these other nations, man. All right. That's why I said this is a distraction and a psyop as well, right? So this 1 Peter 5:8, it says, "Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour." All right. And that's always the case, right? Satan is always on the prowl, man, right? He's never not a time where he's not on the prowl. All right, that's why it says it's as a roaring lion. When it's time for a lion to eat, he ain't gonna stop sneaking around trying to catch his prey until he get one, right? So that's what he is, That's why we just gotta be sober. All right, we gotta be locked in and be focused, man. Yeah, we pay attention to things, but we don't get caught up in them, But this is 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 3. It says, "For when they shall," that's not the one I wanted. I want to get down a little bit. It's 1 Thessalonians 5:6. It says, I'll start at 5. I'll start at 4. It says, "But ye brethren are not in darkness, that day shall overtake you as a thief." You see? So we're not in darkness. Why? Because we have the light. All right. We are illuminated through the spirit and power of Yahweh by Shemel Shai. It says, "Ye are the children of the light and the children of the day. We are not of the night nor of darkness." All right. And the elite are the wicked of, Esau, Edom, who is the wicked anyway. All right. But the elite class of them, all right, they're immersed in gross darkness, man. You see, it says, "Therefore, let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober." All right. And that's one thing, we got to stay focused. We got to stay locked in and be sober. All right. Having our minds spiritually focused, man. Locked in on this truth, locked in on the ministry. See? It says, "For they that sleep in the night, and they that be drunken are drunken in the night." But that's the point. So that's pretty much it, man. So the Lord will, this lesson was edifying. And until next time, I say shalom.